Between aging and busy lifestyles, many women struggle with maintaining their physical and mental wellness. At Aquavita Concierge Healthcare Services for Women, we can help you revitalize your health and reclaim your life. We start from within by balancing your hormones, allowing your body to achieve and maintain desired weight goals. We also specialize in peptide therapies, regenerative medicine, sexual health, and aesthetics in our state-of-the-art facilities. Feel better, look better, live better at Aquavita. Visit aquavitality.com and begin your journey today.
Why don't more infant formula companies use organic, grass-fed whole milk instead of skim? Why don't more infant formula companies use the latest breast milk science? Why don't more infant formula companies run their own clinical trials? Why don't more infant formula companies use more of the proteins found in breast milk? Why don't more infant formula companies have their own factories instead of outsourcing their manufacturing? We wondered the same thing. So we made ByHeart, a better formula for formula. Learn more at byheart.com.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Had a good Wednesday morning to you. Welcome to the show. The A-Train Anthony Harmon is our producer today. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. We do the show from the Par-Mar Store studio. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon, including Par-Mar's newest location, 37620 Coal River Road in Whitesville. And throughout the holiday season, stop by your local Par-Mar store, purchase a red stocking or a World's Best chocolate bar. 100% of the proceeds when you do that will go to the Children's Home Society of West Virginia. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. And the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group. Get ready to make the holidays bright this year in a brand new Ford with your name on it. Drive on down to the Thornhill Motor Mile, slide into the driver's seat of a cutting-edge Ford SUV or a new F-150. Click or come by thornhillford.net or on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 in Chapmanville. Coming up on the show this morning, the guy that hasn't been with us in a while, but he always has a lot on his mind. The always colorful, always entertaining Rob Cornelius is going to be here a little bit later on in the show. We are one day away from the gubernatorial debate in Morgantown. Hoppy moderating that tomorrow night. Mac Warner, Chris Miller, More Capito taking part in that. Someone who is not is a front runner, Attorney General Patrick Morrisey. I'm going to get into that a little bit later on in the show. Smart move or not a smart move? We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Also, by now I'm sure you've heard the story. There's some further information on this horrific double murder in Charleston yesterday. Jeff Jenkins is going to join us from the newsroom to talk about that. And as always, your phone calls and texts are welcome. The Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. The text line from Fruit, 304-935-5008. Want to welcome to the show Tighe Bullock, who is a pretty successful developer of properties, businesses, etc. in Charleston's west side. And he joins us now. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Dave. I'm well. How are you?
Thank you for being here. Okay, I got to ask you a quick question. For those that may not know, what is the difference in the name between West Side and Elk City?
Mm-hmm.
Explain it.
I get this question a lot.
I bet you do. Go ahead.
And the first thing I would say is just, it doesn't matter what you call it. It's all part of Charleston. It's all part of our community. Just come down and come shopping, come say hi. But the history of the neighborhood, just like other major cities, Charleston's a major city. We're one of 50 capitals. We have micro districts, just like there's Greenwich Village or Hell's Kitchen or other places in New York. We have micro districts on the west side. Elk City used to be its own city, had its own charter with the legislature, had its own mayor, had its own city council. It was annexed by Charleston in the late 1890s, and it tells part of our story. It was designed differently. It was designed to be its own city, so it kind of has its own main street. It straddles what was the original Route 60. And so the Elk City Historic District sort of celebrates that history and honors it and helps tell our story as a city.
See, I've learned something today. I didn't know the history. I didn't know that it was its own city at one time. I did not know that. How has the gas situation been over there? I've got some more info on the gas situation to get to a little bit later on. But overall, how you folks coping with that over there?
Yeah, luckily, I mean it's a bad situation. Luckily for at least the tenants we were on the right side of the side that wasn't affected by the gas water issue. But I said it before, and I'll say it now. If anybody, we have a couple empty spaces. There's the former Books and Brew space at 222, and so it's got a full kitchen. It's warm. I invite people to give me a shout if they need, especially organizations, if they're looking to cook or help with this situation. Please give me a shout and let me know how I can help with that.
It's been amazing, Tighe, and I had Angie settle on from Health Right yesterday talking about a little bit. She given out some thanks, but the organizations and the individuals that have come together in that situation over there. But as I said yesterday, that's what West Virginians do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to talk about the development on the west side. That's why you're here today. You were someone along Tighe with a few others that have sort of led the rebirth of the west side. Why do you believe in that area so much?
Well, so I'm from a small coal town in southern West Virginia, Thurmond, West Virginia, and growing up, I kind of saw that community's folks moving away. The mines were closing down and getting further away from Thurmond, and so I watched my community kind of fall apart around me, and it kind of led this drive for me to want to affect positive change in the communities that I live in. And so when we moved to Charleston, we moved to the west side. I lived on Somerset above the cave on Edgewood. And driving back and forth to school or soccer practice, it reminded me of my hometown in Thurmond. But I said to myself, Thurmond's probably too gone for true development or redevelopment, as I like to call it. But we're in the capital city here. There's no reason why these buildings should be like this. There's all kinds of opportunities here, and so I'm just a construction worker. We have a successful construction company. It's really the people the tenants, the kinship goods, the bully trap barber shops, Ecolit. I'm going to get in trouble if I don't mention everybody.
You always do. Just do the best you can.
Yeah. But those are the people that really make the neighborhood. They're the ones that go and open those doors every day and engage with customers and build our tax base. And so they're really the ones that are doing this. I think I just kind of saw an opportunity. And I like working with my hands, and that's kind of how it started.
What has been the response from those that were in the community when you came in and you said, "Look, I want to help to redevelop this area"? What was the response from some of the people that were there?
Generally positive. There has been some discussions, and there's always the G word, as I call it, gentrification, which. It's crazy how some people will view that in a positive light. Some people use that word in a negative light. I think it's kind of lost its meaning. It's sort of empty. The gentrification issue in Charleston, per se. I can't speak to other people's experiences and what goes on in other cities, but all the buildings that we've done were empty. This was an underinvested area of our community. And these were buildings that needed new roofs, needed new storefronts, needed complete upgrades on things. But I'm always trying to learn more. I'm always trying to meet with community members and see if I'm missing anything or if there's any way that I can help. I don't want this to be a project of just like a playground for wealthy people that come and spend money and quickly in the area and then leave. I think that would be a failure for the vision of what I'd like to see. I want to see true community engagement, the community coming together, both commercial and residential components of that. And so I'm always learning. But I think overall it's been a positive reception. But again, I invite anybody to give me a shout and let me know if I'm missing something or if there's something that we can do more over there.
Talking to Tighe Bullock, again, a developer on the west side of Charleston. What would you like to see in the future, or what are you hearing from people maybe over there that's needed in that area? I mean, obviously you want to continue what you've already started, but what are some particular things that you'd like to see over there?
Right off the bat, I always hear about a laundromat. Everybody wants a laundromat, and but I've never built one before. They can be difficult to operate, but if somebody came along and wanted to operate one, we put a business plan together. Be happy to do that. But I do hear laundromat a lot. Recently, we have engaged with Legal Aid of West Virginia. They're currently located down on Quarrier Street downtown, but they're up in and I want to caveat, I can't speak for Legal Aid and I won't speak for Legal Aid, but they're in a place that they're ready for their next move, their next big iteration of their mission statement, and I think moving to the west side is going to be a huge game changer, both for the community and for Legal Aid, because now they'll also have right now they're on like the third or fourth floor of this building downtown. With this new move, they'll have a clinical aspect. They'll be on the ground floor. They'll be able to engage directly with the community. Legal Aid offers pro bono legal services to folks that are most in need in our communities, and so locating at 25302, which is our area code over there. It's the highest concentration of population. It's the highest concentration of poverty. It's the highest concentration of minorities in our whole state. And so I see some really positive changes with that being with that move. We're shooting for about a year from now to get them into that space. It's in the old Stats Hospital, which everyone knows that that's been the white elephant in the room over there. One of them. And so it just feels really good to be able to finally figure out what that next iteration of that building is. But I'm always looking for the next project too. I'm always looking to see what's next. What can we build next?
What do you think, Tighe, is the biggest misconception about the West Side and about that part of town?
That is dangerous. It's not dangerous. We have one of the safest cities in America, and there are crimes of opportunity. You might get something if you leave a tool out on the sidewalk. You might not come back in a couple hours, might be gone. But generally speaking, there's no like smash and grabs. We don't have a lot of violent crime. You see in the comment section oftentimes when there's a West Side story about, watch out for the bullets or something like that. And it's just, those are silly statements. We live in a very safe, tight-knit community. People look out for each other. I live over on Indiana Avenue. Me and my neighbors all look out for each other. Never had any problems. So that's a big misconception. The West Side's it's a good place to live and to raise a family.
I had a text here for the show about the funding for all the development over there. Has it mainly been private capital that's come in?
Yeah, mainly private. But there have been. I have two. Now I have three development companies. My main one is Bullock Properties. That one deals with traditional market rate, arm's length transactions. If the numbers work, they're bankable. We do it through Bullock Properties. If there's a historic building or a project that just for some reason isn't bankable, but there's a great community need for it, the Stats Building is one of those examples, then it goes into Crawford Holdings. Crawford's my middle name. And so we put those into Crawford if they have a little bit of hair on the deal, but they need to be done. And so we figure out, we get the project done. We do a public-private partnership oftentimes. The Charleston Area Alliance has been tremendous in their help. The Charleston Urban Renewal Authority has been tremendous. We work with an organization formerly known as Natural Capital Investment Fund, now called Partner Community Capital. They're based out of Shepherdstown. They're a nonprofit lender. They're not FDIC insured, so they're able to infuse cash into these projects that have a little bit of hair on them. And then we get them healthy. We get some historic numbers on those projects. And then we roll them into a more bankable deal, and then we move on to the next one. So it's been an amalgamation of private funding, bank funding, tax credits. The city of Charleston's been incredible with some of the facade grant programs they have. So it's just kind of the smorgasbord of putting creative financing together.
Todd, do you have a place where people could learn more? If somebody's listening today, they'd like to maybe get involved with what you and the others are doing over on the West Side. You have a website or a phone number you can give out or something like that if people like more information?
Yeah, I'm an open book. My phone number is all over the for rent signs that are down there, 304-553-6343. Give me a shout anytime. Call me, text me. Just reach out. Like I said earlier, I'm all ears and I'm an open book. For trying to figure out how can we we've got a declining population in our city, we've got a declining population in our state, and we need to do something about these kind of things, and we need to invest in our downtowns. That's what I'd say.
I think it's really interesting too, and we'll let you go after this. I've had discussions with other economic development officials, not only here in Charleston, but across the country, with the younger generation, those just beginning the workforce, maybe just out of college or even, whatever, just young people. Whereas I'm a Gen X, I'm classic Gen X, we wanted to raise families, whatever, kind of away from the city. We wanted to be in the suburbs, and maybe the generation just ahead of us, the baby boomers did that as well. But with the younger generation, I'm talking early 20s to maybe early 30s, they seem to want to be downtown. And I'm not talking about just in Charleston, I'm talking about nationwide. They want to be where they can walk to things. Automobiles are a big deal, but maybe not as big a deal as what it was for us. We wanted to be able to have a two-car garage, and carport or whatever. But a lot of these people, they want to be able to ride their bike. They want to be able to walk to these places. Breweries are huge. Art is huge. Experiences are huge. It's just kind of I'm kind of a geek about this stuff. I guess it's just kind of different in the different age groups, and that's what we need more of in West Virginia. I'm 53, not me. You need people that are a lot younger than that to want to come in. And it seems like you're kind of offering that on the west side.
Yeah. I think cities go through life cycles, and post World War II, we as you say, we have sort of the cul-de-sac movement, white picket fences, and people. We sort of left our downtowns. We disinvested in our downtowns, and I think we're moving back. And in some ways we kind of ignored thousands of years of city development. Heuristic things that we learned just through natural, organic downtown living, kind of living next to each other, walking to work, walking to the parks. So I'd like to think that I'm helping us in this part of our community sort of get back to that. We do a lot of mixed use components. We have apartments above these shops that we have. That's how it used to be. So sometimes you'll have the shop owner living upstairs. So the lights don't turn off after 5 o'clock. The neighborhood doesn't die after 5 o'clock. You still got people walking their dogs, cooking dinner on the second and third floors of these buildings, and that's the way it used to be. And so I'd like to help our city with its next iteration.
Tighe, interesting stuff. I could spend an entire show talking about this stuff because I said I'm kind of a geek about this stuff. I'm kind of a geek in general. But I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.
And have a happy holiday season.
You as well.
Tighe Bullock, again, it's 9:23. Hang out with me 1 second here. Our text line is sponsored by Fruth Pharmacy. Check out the Fruth Pharmacy gift guide for great deals this holiday season. You can find gifts under $10, super savers, hot buys, brand new products for the holidays. Find gift sets for men and women, toys for the tots, cozy throws, quilts, and more. Shop locally. Shop Fruth Pharmacy. Visit in-store, online, or by phone, and try their curbside pickup service, too. Fruth has been your hometown pharmacy for 71 years, and we do the show, of course, from the Parmar Store Studios. You know that, and our phone line is service of Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, the best-kept secret in Charleston. All right, we're back after this. We're going to talk to Rob Cornelius next on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses bring first-class businesses to your community.
Get ready to make the holidays bright this year in a brand new Ford with your name on it. Drive on down to the Thornhill Motor Mile during the Ford Black Friday Sell-A-Thon and tag yours at Thornhill Ford Lincoln. Slide into the driver's seat of a cutting-edge Ford SUV or new F-150 truck and feel the power of innovation at your fingertips. Be winter-ready and gift-giving in style. We'll even wrap it up with a big red bow if you want. Hey, it's Sydney inviting you to come explore all that Ford has to offer with great options for your holiday travels and offers that will keep you smiling well into the new year. This ought to make your season bright. Click or come by. Visit us online at thornhillford.net and on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 Chapmanville. Visit Thornhill for all details.
Are you seeking ways to enhance your company's IT workforce? Bridge the workforce skills gap with Bridge Valley's IT training. Elevate your business capability with custom-tailored IT training that empowers your employees with certifications, continued education, and more. The best part? Training is low to no cost to your company. Bridge Valley can also feed a steady stream of skilled graduates and apprenticeships with a 50-50 salary match while training. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeships today.
I'm Rocky Moselle with StarRegistry.com. Since we were children, we've been told to reach for the stars. It was great advice. Now it's a great gift. Name a star after someone. For $54 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit StarRegistry.com, we will name a star after someone very special to you and send an incredible personalized gift. The new star name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Call the Star Registry, 800-282-3333 or visit StarRegistry.com for the hottest gift.
Don't miss the Husson's December Special, a pizza holiday pack with a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza, 10 breadsticks, 12 hot wings, and a 2-liter of Pepsi for just $33.99. Find your local Husson's for dine-in, pickup, or delivery at HussonsPizza.com.
$9:26, Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by your local Brightway agents. John and Sherry Mays of Brightway, the Mays Agency, Tighe Valley. Homeowners insurance can be complicated. Get the coverage you need locally with John and Sherry at Brightway, the Mays Agency, 304-814-2509, or visit brightwaymays.com. Jeff Jenkins is going to join us a little bit later on. This horrific story of this double murder in Charleston yesterday. I just can't get this image out of my head, and what I was reading and hearing yesterday and this morning. Jeff's going to join us with the newsroom. There have been some developments in that story, and Jeff will join us to talk about that a little bit later on. Rob Cornelius is here. I never know how to address you, Rob. Are you Republican operative, Republican strategist, all-around good guy? What do you prefer?
Advocate for America.
Advocate for America, Rob Cornelius.
I like that. That's fair. We've done that a few times.
And Rob, you reached out to me last week about coming on today to share a story. Now, we can add investigative reporter, or at least investigator to your title.
Well, I mean, generally, I'm always working on something. I'll put it in the hands of Brad or one of the other able journalists in the state. But I think a big turn is a big story about a month and a half ago in Charleston that I don't think anybody's really followed up on or gone forward on. There was a dude who was working through COVID at DHHR and related departments, got federally indicted about 6 weeks ago. And the charge was for effectively lying to the feds, lying to a grand jury. But the underlying stuff was the state had been cheated by a vendor on COVID tests. State had sent about $40+ million to an out-of-state vendor called Maverick Labs, which didn't really seem to have any history or basis other than a couple corporate filings. And this guy, Tim Pretty is a dude who works for the government, was let go from this job and was accused by the feds of lying to them because apparently he let this company invoice the state for $40 million of our dollars and only had proof they had done about 10-15% of the tests for which the state had been billed at $80 to $100 a crack. And it's kind of a bigger thing. I think there's going to be a lot more prosecutions coming from this U.S. attorney down here over all the money sloshing around during COVID and how a lot of it's gone into money heaven and local pockets and out-of-state pockets. But this is just really, really fascinating. And this company that seemed to appear out of nowhere, this Maverick Labs out of Florida, there's no real ties here. There's no obvious tie except for one. If you start going back through their corporate filings, one of two things is true. They are either an arm or a wing of United Health and a company called Optum, who provides all the state health insurance. PIA is one of the biggest state contracts in the state. Or they're faking it, and they're using their information to start this business and run all this lab testing. The U.S. Attorney says the state's already been cheated out of probably in the area of $40 million just for starters.
I mean, how did you stumble onto this? I mean, where did the idea for you to look into this?
I read the indictment of this Tim Pretty guy again. He was a mid-level staffer at DHHR, and apparently his pay doubled and tripled during COVID because he was working a ton of overtime. There appears to be some questions about that as well. But it doesn't appear to be any sort of criminal mastermind or anything like that. But all through this indictment, there's references to this Company A that he was doing business with, that he was in communications with. And why he got in trouble, he apparently, at least based on what we're reading in the indictment, the allegations, he just basically lied to the FBI and said he was doing his job, checking that all these contracts. If we send out $10 million, then there's 10,000 COVID tests to go with it or to match. And apparently none of that was getting done, but he told him it was. It's classic. This guy apparently was doing a terrible job at his job and didn't want to tell superior. Somebody asked him. Problem is when you lie to the feds, you're lying to the feds. That's felony. Well, why I was looking, Company A is listed all through this indictment, and the indictment is clearly telling you a story. More is coming. Company A is in trouble. Well, who the heck is Company A? And Maverick Labs is a company. It just started in West Virginia. I think the formation date in Mac's office was end of 2020, and was all of a sudden immediately new business in 2021. In other states, Maverick Labs had operated under the name Optum Labs. Optum is the biggest division of United Health. So why would then all this testing going through the state being done at, VFDs, drugstores, everywhere, back when we were doing like Obama phone tents, but for testing everywhere, why was an out-of-state provider on an emergency contract getting the bulk of the work over 3 or 4 local vendors who also are, I think, the state's still not paying to some extent. They're owed a lot of money, a lot of the local vendors. And people obviously had questions for everybody, what's going on? Who's cheating the government? But if you have an out-of-state concern getting all this stuff and they're tied to somebody much bigger, United Health in Florida, there's a lab number, there's an NPI number. If you're a doctor or a nurse, an NPI, basically every health facility, pharmacy, doctor, clinic of any kind has an NPI, which is like an EIN, a social security number for your medical office. The NPI, all these tests go back to, and all their corporate filings go back to, is to a United Health lab in a medical building in West Palm.
So your prediction would be that eventually there are going to be some major heads going to roll in this and some indictments. Will Thompson's going to get involved. Yeah, is that what you're saying?
I think so. And this company, all the names it goes back to is 3 or 4 dudes from Florida who have New York ties. A couple guys went to Columbia, but guys have no ties here. No. The
plot thickens.
No, I mean, they have no obvious tie here other than one of two things. They're cheating. They're attempting to cheat. Rip off simps here, or someone. If they are with United Health, someone directed that contract, because United Health is a huge provider here in the state. Huge, the biggest. If you've ever been a PIA and you file with PIA, that card in your wallet, that's United Health. That's your health management organization or equivalent.
Or you mentioned having talks with Brad and some other folks in the in the media.
I do a lot of things on the side. You know that when a lot of, I won't speak for them, but a lot of times when a Brad or a Steve Adams or somebody has something good, I've probably done some legwork on it. I've been doing this for 20 years. Mm-hmm. Usually it's political. Usually it's, break somebody's jaw. But this is just interesting.
Not literally.
No, it's a metaphor. Everything's a metaphor, Dave. Come on.
Everything's a metaphor.
But this is very, very curious. And I think Will Thompson and the feds, the guys down the street, understand who Company A is beyond just Maverick Labs, Maverick Health. I mean, it's a comedy company. One of their websites literally is one of those like pre-formatted websites where you just take what's there. It says they do lawn care, trash removal, and medical testing.
Well, yeah, it's a natural fit.
Makes perfect sense. It's like when you get that Latin in your WordPress or whatever. You can tell it's fake. How fake? They already know it's probably $35 to $40 million fake. At least that's what the indictment says.
Wow. Interesting stuff. 27 minutes away from 10. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Pinnacle Consultants. We spend 90% of our time indoors, and our health risk for air pollution can be greater indoors than out. Pinnacle Consultants, the only accredited commercial lab in the state for asbestos and mold. Visit pinnaclecorp.net, because what you don't know can't hurt you. I want to get your take on some political things here, sure. Mr. Cornelius. What do you think of Senator Manchin not running for re-election?
I think he's going to go fight windmills for a couple months and be a celebrity and have people want him, kind of like Mitt Romney, get a lot of attention, but I don't think that third-party thing goes very far. If you understand the mechanics of how hard it is to get people on a ballot in 50 states plus territories where they're all asynchronous, they all operate on different schedules, different requirements. Some need petitions, some need money, some have a different calendar. I think the odds of getting anyone on that many ballots is hard. And again, how do you agree on 3 guys that nobody really likes, but we all just kind of think, okay, and that being like, say, him, Romney, and that Maryland governor who are all playing around in this process. Yeah, Larry. I mean, the whole thing about the middle is people don't have strong feelings about the middle. How do you get folks to vote for someone who is branding themselves in the middle? If you're not forced to make some sort of compromise, people go to one pole or the other.
Mm-hmm. It seems to me that the middle, and maybe I kind of fall in that category sometimes, but the middle just seems like people that are just PO'd at the other two sides.
Right. And the problem is when you give them a middle choice, one of these 3 guys or some other vanilla choice, it's not a very strong magnet. It doesn't pull people along. People will say to you in a poll, yeah, I want a nice moderate position, but they never choose that. When you give them the 3 ice cream flavors, they never pick vanilla or beige or whatever metaphor you have for boring or middle. People say that's what they want. They rarely have the courage to vote for it.
What about the Senate race between Governor Justice and Congressman Alex Mooney?
Well, you saw the spin start up, $1 million in for Mooney. Mitch McConnell's people were coming in with about $400K for Justice, which they need to do because he doesn't have the ability to spend money. That's the bigger issue. I mean, if there's a fastball coming in that race, it's 5 days away. It's in a court in Martinsville, Virginia on Monday, where they're going to tell Carter Bank, who the governor owes hundreds of millions of dollars to, whether they can take his stuff or not. If you want to buy the Greenbrier, Booth Goodwin's numbers in the book, his firm's down the street. But that's what this is down to. Like, there's, long story short, the very vast simplification of this is, does Carter Bank get to sell the governor's stuff or not? And that's on Monday. And Carter Bank is in real trouble because if they can't sell the governor's stuff and get the $300 million plus he owes them in the first tranche, 10% of their assets, 10% of their loans are with the governor. Like that $300 million, that's the entire value of their stock. If they don't get that, they're toast. Regulators should have come in a long time ago. So they need this process to speed up. And if they're looking for buyers for the Greenbrier, like I said, call Booth.
Stewart versus McCuskey for AG.
McCuskey, 100%. There's not a worse person on our side than Mike Stewart.
Why do you say that?
Who wants to talk to him? Who wants to be around him? Is there a worse clubhouse guy who talks more than Mike Stewart? No. He is absolutely
a little harsh. A little harsh, don't you think, Rob?
Worst clubhouse guy I've ever met, period.
Okay.
People don't want to be around him. Find some friends of his.
I'm sure he's got friends.
Are you sure?
Well, I mean, I would think.
Keep looking.
Greg Thomas, when he's on the show, says that Patrick Morrissey's the worst human being ever.
Yeah, well, Greg's wrong sometimes too, so am I. That's going to be an interesting race, but I think it's Patrick's to win. New poll yesterday has him plus 15, plus 16.
What do you think of him not taking part in the debate tonight?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't need to be there.
See, I got issues with it. I got issues with Trump not being in a presidential debate too, but I have issues with Trump. So.
The only people that complain about debates are people who aren't winning on any side.
What about people that are on the outside, though? I mean, like people that are just regular dudes, that want to hear what he has to say, and he's not giving them that. I'm not saying he won't.
He will
eventually, but
no.
not,
And I figure he will. He's certainly not going to hide from a camera. He doesn't do that. I'll give you that. But no, the problem is people are not going to make the decision based on whether someone doesn't debate. They're clearly not going to. That's not a deciding factor. They're going to decide among these candidates based on policy if they care enough to vote. And again, a primary voter cares enough to find out. People that just vote in the general and in every 4-year presidential year are a different voter than the people who are going to show up for this one.
Talk about the money. I keep hearing that Chris Miller, of course, Chris Miller is a very wealthy individual. He's not going to run from that. I mean, he'll tell you that. I mean, that Chris Miller is going to put a whole lot of money into this race after the first of the year, and that it could be enough to. Hoppy was talking about cliches earlier, to move the needle. Do you think that that's the case?
I think he's the only one in that race with any room to grow substantially more. Patrick can grow to 50. Miller can clearly grow much higher than the 10 or whatever he is in the most recent rack of polling. The issue with that is you're in a 4-way race. There's not a lot of undecided. This newest poll came out yesterday, has undecided, 15, 16, 17, that area. It's not 40 or 70. Like in these down-ticket races, no one's ever heard of these people running for auditor or ag commissioner or whatever. You have less room to grow, you have a shorter runway, and you have a narrower runway. Because when people are already committed to Mac or Patrick or somebody else, you've got to make the sale to one, strip them away, bring them through undecided or a middle, unaffiliated, and then bring them through to you. And that's not an instant process. It's not like one ad for Chris Miller will all of a sudden move 20 people off of Patrick directly to Chris Miller. That's impossible. That's not how this works. It's never one piece of information, unless it's something ludicrous like folks and sheep or whatever. It is literally, it's a process.
First sheep reference we've had on the show in a while.
Fair, no, but you have to start early, and you have to move people through independent or unaffiliated to get them to you. And in a race where 85% of people at least have a horse already, or at least starting with one, that's harder to do. This is not a Bill Maloney 2011 situation where 70% of the people have no idea before the race starts.
What do you think of Steve Williams, the Huntington mayor, former legislator? He is going to be the Democratic nominee. My take on Steve Williams is I think Steve has been an effective mayor in Huntington. I spent a lot of time in Huntington. If you see Huntington now compared to what Huntington used to be, it's got its issues, but it's way better now than it used to be. I think he's probably, I mean, he's not Stephen Smith, which is a good thing.
Right.
I think he's probably going to be the best option that they have on the Democratic side. Still has no chance, in my opinion. But your take on Steve Williams? He's a very nice man. I'm glad he's taken this opportunity to run and fill the ballot. There's a little bit of Manchin there. He'll do better with women because women will think he's pretty. Older women love Joe Manchin. Older women will love Steve Williams, but not enough to move the needle. This is still a 65-35, a 2-to-1 kind of race. But I'm glad they're at least putting up someone who's not insane. So that is really nice progress. So you think, as it stands right now, you think Patrick Morrissey will be the next governor of West Virginia?
Yeah, barring some sort of huge externalities, yes.
See, because I know a lot of the Chamber of Commerce type folks, I don't mean necessarily the Chamber of Commerce, but I mean a lot of those type business people
they're wrong a lot.
Well, but they're hitching their wagon to Chris Miller because he's a businessman.
Well, no, they're hitching their wagon to more Capito. But what I would tell you...
No, a lot of people are hitching their wagon to...
car dealers are not the Chamber.
Chris Miller.
Car dealers are not the Chamber. That's a different issue. I'll put it this way. anything you hear from anyone in Charleston that lives in 25314, that's a zip code up the hill, up around GW, ignore it, because it's almost always wrong politically. I've said that for 20 years, and I've been right a lot. Don't listen to those people. All they do is talk to each other and don't have any sense for what's going on in Jane Lew, period.
All right, let me get this one in here. Secretary of State's race, it's crowded field. Putnam County Clerk Brian Wood, Delegate Chris Pritt, former Delegate Ken Reed, former House Minority Leader, Democrat turned Republican Doug Scath. Tomorrow night, expected during an event at the Culture Center on the Capitol grounds, that former State Party Chair Chris Warner, brother of Mac, current holder of that office, is expected to announce he's going to run for that seat that his brother currently holds.
It was amazing when he bankrupted the State Republican Party the time they let him be in charge. I'm not sure necessarily the winners in that field yet. The strongest hand to play, and it pains me a little to say this, is the Scaff hand, because I know it can spend the money. I don't know that anyone else there can or will spend the money. Reed spent a little bit of money when he ran for Congress in 2014. If he brought that level of money into it again, maybe. He's got a shot. Solely Eastern Panhandle person. But in my mind, the hand I'd want is the Scaff hand.
What about Brian Wood? I mean, Brian Wood, here's what I know about Brian Wood. He's county clerk.
Yep.
He's going to have the support of the other county clerks because he's one of them. You know, probably down a little bit on the money. He can't compete with the money-wise, but I don't think anybody's going to outwork the guy. I mean, your thoughts?
It's a very Southern West Virginia thought. What's the value of everyone at the courthouse knowing everybody at every other courthouse? How much influence those people have? And the problem is, once some money hits this race and someone's willing to spend low six figures, that changes everything. Period. I wish it was that way. I wish we could have a nice 400 level poli-sci class chat every day on this show. I wish we could just meet people and win. But the reality is someone slaps $400,000 on a table and move to the front of that line.
It's a money game.
Yes, because
it's a money game.
Money is speech.
Yeah.
Like it or not, money is speech. It is rare that anyone is clever enough or good enough at this to get enough free media. The only person who can do that's Trump. Doesn't need to spend. Kind of like the governor, doesn't have to spend.
All right, let me get your take on this. And it's about you.
Oh, cool.
Because I know you love you some you.
Sometimes.
But if you don't love yourself, who will? All right, so there has been some speculation that you yourself, Mr. Cornelius, last time you were on the show, you kind of alluded that you might look at running for some sort of an office at some point, state office?
We talked about auditor. As good as I would be at that, I'm probably not in. Again, need to be able to self-finance that. I'm not sure the winner's in that field yet. I don't know. Again, someone shows up and slaps low six figures on the table, we move to the front of the line. And no one's in that race yet has done that or shown the ability to do that. When they do, they move to the front of the line. The one complicating factor, personally, of the three, a householder by far the best, he's an adult. He's got experience doing this. He wants to do the right stuff, but he's not going to have all the Eastern Panhandle vote if the lady from Jefferson County stays in. That's going to be a split. If you can come out in that race, a race with no money, you got six people with no money. If you're the only person from the Eastern Panhandle, that's a great start. If we're all playing with no resources, but if they're going to split the EP, then that really weakens him.
So you're out, though. Basically, is what I'm saying. You're out at this point. You've got some other. Here's the thing.
I have some other things.
You have some other things that you can't because you're like me. You've got like 15 other jobs, 15 other things that you do.
Yeah, one I do some radio in another state, and the second I announce for something, I'm off that. But the bigger picture is, frankly, money and timing. If I get a check between now and January 26th or whatever,
soliciting funds.
Yeah, right. No, I'm not soliciting anything. Wrong check. But yes,
I get it. Yeah. All right. Well, I know you do a lot with Ohio University.
Got a game tonight, Youngstown State basketball.
Well, let me just say you need to do something about your highway patrol officers because I got my first speeding ticket in 37 years of driving on my way to Ohio University's campus, and I'm not happy about it.
Oh yeah, because you were there to film a couple of West Virginia kids that are playing on our teams.
Yes,
we have a GW kid on men's basketball. He's redshirting this year, Ben, and guy on the women's basketball team from Parkersburg, Maddie.
Yeah. Well, maybe I shouldn't have been doing 73 and a 55.
It was a little hot. In Meigs County, they have nothing to do but ticket on that Super 2. Just trust me.
Well, for what it's worth, the cop was super nice about it.
OHP's pros.
He said, I got to give you a citation. And I said, I'll accept it.
OHP is total pros. I wish we had that set up. Our state troopers get stuck doing off-the-map stuff, like glorified sheriff stuff. OHP is a good operation.
Yeah, well, they got this old boy. They got this old boy. Rob Cornelius, I appreciate it. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by Huston's Pizza. This month, your favorite Huston's. Get the special holiday pack, large 18-inch pepperoni pizza, 10 breadsticks, 12 hot wings, and a 2-liter Pepsi, only $33.99. Find your local Huston's at HustonsPizza.com. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for shopping locally.
Get ready to make the holidays bright this year in a brand new Ford with your name on it. Drive on down to the Thornhill Motor Mile during the Ford Black Friday Sell-A-Thon and tag yours at Thornhill Ford Lincoln. Slide into the driver's seat of a cutting-edge Ford SUV or new F-150 truck and feel the power of innovation at your fingertips. Be winter ready and gift-giving in style. We'll even wrap it up with a big red bow if you want. Hey, it's Sydney inviting you to come explore all that Ford has to offer with great options for your holiday travels and offers that will keep you smiling well into the new year. This ought to make your season bright. Click or come by. Visit us online at thornhillford.net and on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 Chapmanville. Visit Thornhill for all details.
This is Brandon Grigsby with Prey Construction. When Steptoe & Johnson needed a partner to construct their professional space, they trusted Prey Construction. Just listen to what Brian Coakley of Steptoe & Johnson has to say.
I'm Brian Coakley of Steptoe & Johnson here in Charleston, West Virginia. We have worked with Prey Construction over the years at Chase Tower for all of our construction needs. The folks at Prey approach their work with the same dedication that we do.
Thank you, Brian, for allowing Prey Construction to be a steward of your projects and continue Steptoe & Johnson's 100-year tradition. To learn more about Prey Construction, visit preyconstruction.com.
Elevators. You take them for granted until they let you down. If you're working to maintain a stellar reputation, then let me introduce you to DC Elevator. We want to work with you to make sure your people get where they are going. What could be better than a new company coming to the area and already having 45 years of experience? DC Elevator is bringing a new culture of elevator maintenance, repairs, modernization, and installation to West Virginia. Don't leave your people hanging. For a free consultation, call DC Elevator at 304-345-7222.
Brace yourself for the ultimate holiday deal with Consumer Cellular. Snag an incredible 50% off the Iris Flip when you buy before December 17th, making it only $34.50. The Iris Flip is all the phone and camera you need with a user-friendly design, the perfect flip phone companion. Plus, you'll get nationwide coverage and always free activation. Score 50% off when you use promo code RADIO50. Head over to consumercellular.com and use promo code RADIO50 during checkout to score this deal.
Plan for a secure future with Retire Right Radio. Join John Burdett from 4th Avenue Financial every Monday morning at 8:20 on 580 WCHS. Get expert insights and strategies to make the most of your retirement. Tune in and retire with confidence.
12 away from 10. The impact of Special Olympics extends far beyond the athletes themselves. Volunteers and supporters touched by the unwavering determination of these extraordinary individuals find immeasurable fulfillment in their involvement. The inclusive approach embraced by Special Olympics fosters an environment where everyone plays a vital role. West Virginia Enriched, in collaboration with Huntington, invites you to witness the transformative power of Special Olympics. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics at facebook.com/580WCHS. Lead story this morning, WVMetroNews.com. A man is in custody after allegedly stabbing his mother and a 10-year-old boy to death. It's a bizarre story. Jeff Jenkins joins us from the newsroom to talk about it. Jeff, good morning. The story is posted on the website. What do we know this morning?
Okay, so what's new this morning, Dave, is now Charleston police have released the name of the mother who was killed, 62-year-old Sherry Jean Russell. So it's alleged that her son, and you've got his name right there in front of you, he allegedly got it right there.
Yeah, I don't have it right in front of me. But
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't bring my.
I've
been saying it all morning.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Anyway, he is charged with killing his mother and a 10-year-old boy. Now we don't have really much beyond that, other than he's charged with killing. And what we do know, according to the criminal complaint, is that he showed up at Dutch Miller Auto down on McCorkle Avenue in South Charleston yesterday afternoon and told a worker there he was looking for a car because he had just killed somebody or killed a couple people. So, of course, police responded. They found out where that was, where he said that was. They responded. And this is, folks are familiar, this is Vandalia Terrace. So Vandalia Terrace apartments are basically right off Canal Turnpike, right on the South Charleston line. Mm-hmm. So it's like a stone's throw from Joplin Park in South Charleston. So it's kind of it's in that, and you access those actually from Canal Turnpike, right there near South Charleston, although they are in Charleston. So Charleston City Police are investigating. That's where the bodies were found, in one of the apartments, and criminal complaints say that both of them were stabbed, the mother up in the neck area, and it just didn't give a lot of details on the boy, but just saying that he died of stab wounds. So, and his name has not been released.
Yeah, the person, the perpetrator in this was Nicholas David Hanshaw. That was his name.
That's right.
And I can't imagine Jeff just trying to be, somebody working there at Dutch Miller and just, normal day at the car dealership, and somebody comes in covered in blood.
Yeah, I said it was splattered
in blood, saying, "I need to buy a car because I just killed someone," and we find out later it's a gentleman's mother and a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And obviously there's no motive at this point.
We don't have it from Charleston police. I don't know if they exactly know. I mean, I'm sure they're trying to investigate to see what that was. Don't know right now the 10-year-old boy's connection. Was it a grandson, a son? I mean, we don't know that. We don't know that right now. So hopefully there'll be more information. But it was actually pretty quick work by police. And I mean, they only found out about it because he shows up at this dealership. Hanshaw does, and that's how everybody kind of got on it. But it's tragic, and to say the least. And so we'll find out more information. He's in jail without bail.
Sure,
he was arraigned, and so that's where it is.
All right, Jeff. It's a bizarre, tragic story. I appreciate you joining us, man.
Yeah,
Thanks
we're following up with City Police, hoping to get some more information.
Going to be available on the air and on all the websites and the socials. All right, Jeff, I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Bridge Valley. Are you interested in improving your company's IT workforce? Well, did you know that Bridge Valley offers custom-tailored IT training to bridge the skills gap? At Bridge Valley, you can train for little or no cost with a 50-50 salary match. Bridge Valley can also supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeships today. Before we go to break, there was another quick story posted by Jarrett Lewis on the website. The Chase Bank in South Charleston was, of course, robbed a week ago today. The guy who accused it has been arrested. He was arrested half a mile away. Now, I'm no bank robber, but go farther, dude. Go farther. 9:53. I got a ton of texts, too. I'm going to do my best to get to them right after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses live to make life better for you and your family.
Get ready to make the holidays bright this year in a brand new Ford with your name on it. Drive on down to the Thornhill Motor Mile during the Ford Black Friday Sell-A-Thon and tag yours at Thornhill Ford Lincoln. Slide into the driver's seat of a cutting-edge Ford SUV or new F-150 truck and feel the power of innovation at your fingertips. Be winter ready and gift giving in style. We'll even wrap it up with a big red bow if you want. Hey, it's Sydney inviting you to come explore all that Ford has to offer with great options for your holiday travels and offers that will keep you smiling well into the new year. This ought to make your season bright. If you come by, visit us online at thornhillford.net and on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 Chapmanville. Visit Thornhill for all details.
Ho, ho, ho! Christmas only comes once a year, so let's start spreading some holiday cheer with a Members Choice West Virginia Christmas loan.
Now through December 22nd, you can borrow up to $1,500 with rates as low as 5% and up to 10 months to pay back.
Get everything on your Christmas list this year and apply today at 201 Ohio Avenue in Charleston or visit memberschoicewv.com.
Loans are subject to credit approval. Additional restrictions may apply.
Ho, ho, ho!
Watch 13 News.
The shooting that prompted a school lockdown.
Live, taking you to the scene.
Just had a house explosion and
local stories from your neighborhood.
Flames were shooting through the building's roof.
Now, giving you the most updated information.
This shooting happened right here along Deco Street.
And live coverage of local stories that matter to you. Amanda Barron.
A fire has crews on the scene.
Pat Simon.
Let's go live now to Sam DeCon.
Spencer Atkins.
We have new severe thunderstorm warnings.
Storm Tracker 13 weather.
Continue to get in shelter.
Keeping you safe. Every weeknight, watch 13 News. Live, local, now. 13 News.
Dr. Phil is on the move. New station, new time. You do not want to miss the episodes I have in store for you. Watch me on my new home.
Watch Dr. Phil, weekdays at 3 on WOWK 13.
5 away from 10, the Dave Allen Show. 580 Live is brought to you part by General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. Get with them for a quote before you start your project. If you're tired of sorting through a bunch of crooked boards, get with General Hardware and Lumber. They have the straight quality lumber you're looking for with great pricing and the service you expect from a locally owned business, General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. Ton of text to get to. Text says, as a Gen Xer, what I've learned is boomers did it wrong and therefore taught us, Generation X, wrong. Example, Work-life balance. They have the correct priorities. We've worked ourselves to death, and for what? Learn from these young folks. They are the ones that have it right, according to a text. That goes back to the interview I did with Tighe Bullock a little bit earlier. Text says, happy holiday season. Are you a woke Marxist trying to bring back the totally real war on Christmas? No, I said happy holiday season because that has to do with Thanksgiving, and it has to do with Christmas, and it has to do with New Year's. That's what I'm talking about. Text says, don't bury the lead on the COVID fraud indictment. It hasn't happened yet. The one the text is referring to has happened. The real headline is the Jim Justice administration is horribly corrupt. These are his employees and agencies, says a texter. Texter says, Dave, have you seen what President Joe Biden has done? This year's oil production is over 13 million barrels per day. In 2019, the last year of the Trump presidency, it was a little over 12 million barrels per day. Can you believe that? Isn't it outrageous that a president would listen to his upset constituents? My God, Biden is ruining America. I think that's tongue-in-cheek. Text says, Rob Cornelius out here speaking the truth about Mike's 16-year-old should get married Stewart. Text says, it's strange that Chris Miller can put lots of money into a campaign that he's likely going to lose, but needed $3 million from the federal government to prop up his car lots. Who is Brent Benjamin? Says texter. Text says, Dave, tell your guest Trump has been a drag on the Republican Party. Just check wins and loses. Fact. Agreed. Text says, money's got nothing to do with free speech. Get educated, says a texter. Text says, lying to the feds is a felony for some. Remember, there's power and privilege in the D. Text says, Chris Miller has achieved the American dream, which the left tout as a reason to let illegal aliens break the law. But once people reach the dream like Miller, they are hated, shamed, insulted, and targeted for actually making the money they worked for. Text says, breaking TV legend Norman Lear has died at the age of 101. Did not know that, but I'm sure there will be more on that coming up throughout the day. Text says, Rob is correct about Stewart. All of his former law partners are supporting McCuskey, that in the race for Attorney General. And Stewart has 0 friends. Man, people hate on Mike Stewart and his friends. He's got friends. I'm sure he does. Text says very few people actually like Mike Stewart. All right. Sorry, Mike, if you're listening. Text says maybe, Dave, the trooper who got you in Ohio is the one that got me for doing 72 and a 55 from taking my son back to college. Maybe, but it was my fault. I should have been going a whole lot slower than I was. So it is totally my fault. All right. It is Wednesday, meaning we'll be out at the Red Carpet Lounge after work for V100's Working Women's Wednesday. Jenny Murray will be there, as well as DJ Matt Guitar Murphy pumping out the tunes. A lot of prizes, drink and food specials, too, at the Red Carpet Lounge starting at 5 o'clock with their sister station V100. And quickly, I do want to remind you that the show is also brought to you, but didn't get this one in, by Mix Realty Group, where trust and efficiency are the cornerstones of their service. Call 304-401-1101 or visit meeks.us for more information. Tomorrow night in Morgantown, Metro News presents the gubernatorial debate, minus Attorney General Patrick Morrissey, Mac Warner, Moore Capito, Chris Miller, all taking part. Our own Hoppy Kirchwell will moderate. You can listen to the debate here or watch it live at wvmetronews.com. All right, gotta go. Thank you so much. Hoppy is up next. And among the things Hoppy's going to be talking about is the presentation or the announcement of the West Virginia High School Football Player of the Year. I know who it is. You'll have to find out coming up with Hoppy. All right, on the show tomorrow, we are going to talk to Ashley Deem, who is a candidate for a judge here in Kanawha County, and also Brad McElhenny, who will be by to preview the debate. See you tomorrow. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM, W243DRFM Charleston, and W283AQ Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here, too.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses, so don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+. With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.